Hello, Outposters. Well, you voted. You let us know. We've been putting up your top movies and ranked them by the most popular to least popular. You gave us your top 30, and by putting together our amazing math skills with various cases of liquor, we were able to figure out which is the most loved movies out there, as chosen by you. So, let's get started with the countdown. Number 30, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood's final movie as the man with no name is also his best. With Sergio Leone's direction and Ennio Morricone's amazing score, Eastwood, Eli Wallach, and Lee Van Cleef go on a hunt for $20,000 buried in a desert. Which one will get there and make off with the cash? Well, it's not just a treasure hunt movie. It ends in one of the most brilliant gunfights ever put to film.
The good, the bad, the ugly. The showdown. The reason, the goal.
Number 29, The Big Lebowski. Personally, my all-time favorite Coen Brothers movie. Jeff Bridges plays a character that becomes an instantly recognizable classic, the Dude. Along with a genuine psychotic John Goodman and Steve Buscemi's Donnie, poor Donnie. This twist on classic film noir is endlessly rewatchable. Just remember, don't F with the Jesus.
Wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. I'm the Dude. You know, that or his dudeness or Duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski?
Employed?
Do you like sex, Mr. Lebowski?
Is this your only ID?
You got the wrong guy. I'm the Dude.
Your name's Lebowski.
Jeff Lebowski, the other Lebowski, the millionaire. I received this ransom note this morning.
This is a bummer, man.
They want you to take the money and act as courier.
What do you mean, man? What the hell is this?
My dirty undies, dude. The whites.
Let's take that hill.
Why should we settle for 20 grand when we can keep the entire million?
I know you're mixed up in all this.
Playing one side against the other in bed with everybody.
Blow on them.
Huh?
Fabulous stuff. What?
Number 28, Pulp Fiction. Is this Tarantino's best movie? Well, according to our readers, it is. Whether or not it is his best, it's certainly the most indelible, having left its mark on cinema for years to come. Reinvigorating Travolta's career, which was stalled out with those Look Who's Talking movies, Tarantino filled his movie with great lines from Samuel Jackson, Ving Rhames, Christopher Walken, Bruce Willis, and Uma Thurman. It never gets old.
Come on, let's get in character.
I'm so interested in Big Man's wife. Well, he's going out of town, Florida, and he asked me if I'd take care of her while he's gone.
Take care.
No, man. Just show her a good time, make sure she don't get lonely.
Girl.
You see, this is a moral test of oneself.
I do believe Marcellus, my husband, your boss, told you to take me out and do whatever I wanted.
I love you so much,
whether or not you can maintain loyalty.
Night of the fight, you may feel a slight sting. Pride only hurts. It never helps. In the fifth, your ass goes down.
I have to say, you play with matches, you get burned.
We should have shotguns for this kind of deal.
We're in a lot of danger, aren't we?
I'm prepared to scour the earth for that mission.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Number 27, The Dark Knight. Not just a great superhero movie, a great movie, period. Heath Ledger puts on a performance as the Joker that ultimately became his last, winning a posthumous Oscar and redefining the clown prince of crime for a new generation. But Christian Bale as Batman, Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, and Michael Caine as Alfred all put in yeoman's work to tell this tale of Batman as imagined by Christopher Nolan. While all three of his Batman movies were great, this one has yet to be topped.
Where do we begin? A year ago, these cops and lawyers wouldn't dare cross any of you. I mean, what happened?
So what are you proposing?
It's simple. Kill the Batman. Here's my card.
Bruce, this is Harvey Dent.
Rachel's told me everything about you.
I certainly hope not.
You once told me that we'd be together. Did you mean it?
Bruce, don't make me your only hope for a normal life.
You're Alfred, right?
That's right, sir.
Any psychotic ex-boyfriends I should be aware of?
Oh, you have no idea.
Number 26, Casablanca. Here's looking at you, kid. It's a testament to the quality of this movie that it still gets to people's top lists even after nearly 80 years after it was made. Though a product of his time, it remains as timeless as ever. Rick's pain over Elsa, the world collapsing around them, and Louis and Sam right in the middle of it. I never not laugh when Raines is shocked that there's gambling in this establishment. This may be the start of a beautiful friendship indeed. So far, this film has been a welcoming friend for people since 1942, and it shows no signs of stopping.
Play it, Sam.
You must remember this, a kiss is just a kiss, a sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply.
You can't get away.
Don't hide me. Do something. You must help me.
I stick my neck out for nobody.
Wise foreign policy.
Number 25, The Matrix. The sequels have a lot to be desired, but take nothing away from the original. The classic hero's journey tale with a late 90s dark techno spin. The internet was just barely 5 years old at this point, at least from the general public's point of view, and the interconnectivity and growth in those days was astounding. It's no wonder this resonated at the time. Add in some amazing new special effects and a great cast with Keanu Reeves, blending some real gravitas with his whoa dude persona from the 80s, and you get a classic.
Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
It's the question that drives us, Neo.
What is the Matrix?
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. You are a slave born into a prison for your mind.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy.
Try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague, and we are the cure.
So you're here to save the world.
I'm trying to free your mind, Neo, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
Number 24, The Shawshank Redemption. Another one from 1994, but unlike Pulp Fiction, Shawshank was nearly unseen in theaters. Home video and cable changed all that. People discovered and cherished Andy, Red, and Rita Hayworth. A true classic in every sense of the word, this dark, depressing prison movie turns into the greatest presentation of hope that nearly any movie ever has. Even you have to crawl through a mile of the most unimaginable stench to get it.
Andy came to Shawshank Prison in 1947. Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you ask.
You can fit right in. I must admit, I didn't think much of Andy first time I laid eyes on him. He had a quiet way about him. A walk and a talk that just wasn't normal around here.
There are places in the world that aren't made out of stone. There's something inside they can't touch.
What are you talking about?
Hope.
Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing.
Damn it, Dufresne, you're putting me behind.
Hope can drive a man insane.
You better be sick or dead in there, I kid you not.
You better get used to that idea.
Oh, my holy God. I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living. You get busy dying.
Number 23, Airplane. Only 23? Surely you can't be serious. Yes, this is probably one of the most quotable movies ever made. The Zucker brothers brought together a great cast to remake an old movie, which is nearly shot for shot, except for the excellent humor that still holds up today. Peter Graves is the very odd pilot, Leslie Nielsen showing his comedy range that would serve him well in Police Squad, Barbara Billingsley speaking jive, and at least two leads in Robert Hayes and Julie Haggerty playing it totally straight while embracing the most ridiculous things makes this movie funny every time you see it.
Johnny, what can you make out of this?
This? Well, I can make a cap, or a brooch, a pterodactyl.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now.
Like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Captain, how soon can you land?
I can't tell.
You can tell me, I'm a doctor.
Tighten me.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Cuddy say can't hang.
Oh, stewardess, I speak jive.
Oh, good.
Number 22, The Exorcist. While there is some debate on whether or not it's aged well, it still can't be denied its place in cinema history. Pea Soup still gives me the creeps. Linda Blair and Max von Sydow have amazing back and forth at the end of the movie, while Ellen Burstyn spends most of the movie getting more and more desperate as things fall apart. A great example of a slow burn, and not surprising that people were traumatized back in 1973.
Somewhere between science and superstition, there is another world. The world of darkness. Nobody expected it.
All right, let's see what the...
Nobody believed it. And nothing could stop it.
There are no experts. You probably know as much about possession as most priests. Look, your daughter doesn't say she's a demon. She says she's the devil himself.
I'm telling you that that thing upstairs isn't my daughter. Now, I want you to tell me that you know for a fact that there's nothing wrong with my daughter except in her mind. You tell me you know for a fact that an exorcism wouldn't do any good. You tell me that!
Number 21, The Shining. Stephen King may not have liked this adaptation, but you sure did. Jack Nicholson's manic performance combined with a great setting made this movie so indelible in the collective consciousness that not only did a sequel finally come out just last year, but it was treated so lovingly and recreated so perfectly in Ready Player One. Shelley Duvall was terribly abused by Stanley Kubrick in the making of this film, but she definitely sells the terror of watching her husband descend into madness.
I don't suppose they told you anything in Denver about the tragedy we had up here during the winter of 1970? I hired a man named Charles Grady as the winter caretaker. From what I've been told, I mean, he seemed like a completely normal individual. But at some point during the winter, he must have suffered some kind of a complete mental breakdown. He ran amok and killed his family with an axe.
Well, you can rest assured, Mr. Ullman, that's not going to happen with me.
That's right.
Mom, do you really want to go and live in that hotel for the winter?
Sure I do. It'll be lots of fun.
The only thing that can get a bit trying up here during the winter is the tremendous sense of isolation.
Is there something bad here?
I fear you will have to deal with this matter in the harshest possible way.
I believe that I killed you with Danny.
You did this to him, didn't you?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains. Here's Johnny.
Number 20, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This is the only MCU movie to crack the top 30. It definitely proves what we've been arguing about for a while. It is the best MCU movie. So good, the Russos were rewarded with Captain America Civil War and then the last two Avengers movies. But this was their first, and gave us our first significant departure from the overall tone of the MCU. Adding in Black Widow, A-list actor Robert Redford, and bringing back Bucky from the first Avenger. It all culminates in the destruction of not only Hydra, but of S.H.I.E.L.D., a gripping spy drama that just happens to be a superhero movie.
Coming up on the drop zone, Cap.
You do anything fun Saturday night?
Well, all the guys in my barbershop quartet are dead, so no, not really.
You know, if you ask Kristen out from statistics, she'd probably say yes.
That's why I don't ask.
Too shy or too scared?
Too busy! Was he wearing a parachute?
No. No, he wasn't.
I joined S.H.I.E.L.D. to protect people.
Captain.
To build a better world sometimes means tearing the old one down. And that makes enemies.
Are you ready for the world to see you as you really are? You look out the window. You know how the game works. Disorder, war. All it takes is one step.
We're gonna neutralize a lot of threats before they even happen.
Thought the punishment usually came after the crime.
S.H.I.E.L.D. takes the world as it is, not as we'd like it to be.
This isn't freedom. This is fear.
You need to keep both eyes open.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Number 19, Goodfellas. How am I funny? Scorsese's masterpiece is the best kind of storytelling from beginning to end. Highlighted by Joe Pesci's and Robert De Niro's performances before De Niro became a parody of himself, it's a reminder of how good an actor he really was. Add to that Scorsese's direction. Who can forget that unbroken camera shot through the restaurant? It all adds up to an instant classic that is still riveting today. You know, when people say that The Irishman shows that Scorsese has still got it, Goodfellas is the it he's got.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
I
know I'd go from rags to riches.
To me, being a gangster was better than being president of the United States.
Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
It meant being somebody in the neighborhood that was full of nobodies.
Oh, you broke your cherry.
Hey, Mom, what do you think?
You look like a gangster.
By the time I grew up, there was $30 billion a year in cargo moving through Idlewild Airport, and believe me, we tried to steal every bit of it.
You might know who we are, but we know who you are. You understand? Yeah.
What kind of people are these?
What do you do?
I'm in construction.
Number 18, The Godfather Part 2. On nearly everyone's best of list for greatest sequel ever made, The Godfather Part 2 manages to continue the story of the Corleones, even without Marlon Brando anchoring it. De Niro, Pacino, Duvall, Keaton, Caan. How many heavy hitters can you have and not be a classic? Apparently, that was good enough for the Oscar Academy, as it was nominated to 12 awards and won 6. And to be fair, 3 were in the Best Supporting Actor category, and only one of those could win. A true classic.
If anything in this life is certain, if history's taught us anything, it says you can kill anyone.
Is it worth it?
My father taught me many things here. He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Godfather is a term of affection, one of respect.
This is the business we've chosen.
Number 17, Blade Runner. Ridley Scott's 1982 masterpiece was a special effect coup that inspired future film noir type movies a dozen over. Gritty, beautiful, and if you don't like it, well, try one of the other 5 versions that were released since. No matter what, Rutger Hauer's Tears in the Rain speech is still as powerful on the 20th viewing as on the first. While this movie didn't do as well in theaters on its release either, because it was up against such an incredible crop of movies, including E.T., or because they weren't ready for Harrison Ford to be in a role that was so different than his Han Solo or his Indiana Jones. Time has been very kind to this movie, and finally was given a good sequel in 2017.
I'm kind of nervous when I take tests.
I've got 4 skin jobs walking the streets.
They're either a benefit or a hazard. If they're a benefit, it's not my problem.
I'm Rachel.
Deckard.
Have you ever retired a human by mistake?
No.
I need the old Blade Runner. This is a bad one. Cops?
can it not know what it is?
If only you could see what I've seen.
More human than human is our motto.
What if I go north? Disappear? Would you come after me?
I owe you one, but somebody would.
It's too bad she won't live!
I can see you!
Time to die.
Will you help us? What seems to be the problem?
Death.
I want more life.
Number 16, The Godfather. Grover Clevelanding its way to almost back-to-back with its sequel, The Godfather hits number 16, showing it's still the best of a classic pair of movies. And we won't talk about part 3. Marlon Brando plays a career-defining role. And this is the guy who was in Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront, and The Wild One. An epic gangster movie that inspired so many more after it. It remains the high water mark to this day.
Buonasera. Buonasera. What have I ever done to make you treat me so disrespectfully? If you'd come to me in friendship, then the scum that ruined your daughter would be suffering this very day. And if by chance an honest man like yourself should make enemies, then he would become my enemies. And then they would fear you.
Be my friend? Godfather?
Number 15, Return of the Jedi. Our first Star Wars movie on the list, and it won't be the last. While definitely the weakest of the original trilogy, it's still a very strong movie in its own right. Some may dislike the Ewoks or that Han and Leia don't really have much of an arc, but none can really argue that the Skywalker story was wrapped up so well and so satisfactorily that it makes up for any shortcomings that the rest of the movie may have had. A storyline stretched over 3 movies has to have an emotional ending that works, and it definitely did. It definitely deserves its place on this list.
Return to a galaxy far, far away.
Ready, everybody? Chewie, see what this piece of junk can do.
Here we go again.
You will bring Captain Solo and the Wookiee to me.
Return to heroic adventure.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Return to the ultimate confrontation.
Freeze! Don't move!
Oh dear.
I love you.
I know.
Return for the climactic chapter of the Star Wars saga.
Exciting is hardly the word I would choose.
But most of all, return for the fun of it. Return of the Jedi.
Number 14, Ghostbusters. The very definition of greater than the sum of its parts. And those parts are great to begin with. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, they all made an amazing adventure film and a classic comedy. The jokes continue to be pitch perfect and don't dilute with repeat viewings. Kids wanted proton packs to bust ghosts, and adults wanted to stick it to authority and be snarky heroes. It works on all levels, and it never stopped. It came, it saw, it kicked all our asses.
They're armed.
they're dangerous.
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
All right, that's bad. Okay. All right, important safety tip. Thanks, Egon.
They're professionals.
Oh, I'm the chairman of the largest paranormal removal company in America.
Did you see it? They're all that stands between you and the end of the world.
The city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion. Real wrath of God type stuff. Exactly. Fire and brimstone coming down from the sky. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Got your stick? Hold! Beat him up! Smoke him! Make him hard! Ready!
Ghostbusters, starring Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Harold Ramis, Rick Moranis. Coming to save the world.
Number 13, The Fellowship of the Ring. The only one of the Lord of the Rings trilogy to make the top 30, and not coincidentally, the only movie in the trilogy that is most faithful to the books. When it came out in 2001, it proved without a shadow of a doubt that this unfilmable trilogy could indeed be filmed. With incredible special effects, a score that rivals anything John Williams has done, and a cast that fit the characters perfectly.
Legend tells of a ring created by an ancient evil that gave its wearer the power to enslave the world. Believed lost for centuries, it has now been found.
Is it secret? Is it safe?
This is the One Ring, forged by the Dark Lord Sauron. Sauron needs only this ring to cover all the lands of a second darkness. He is seeking it all. His thought is bent on it.
No one knows it's here, do they? Do they, Gandalf?
The weapon of the enemy is a gift. Let us use it against him.
You cannot wield it. None of us can.
The ring must be destroyed.
It was made in the fires of Mount Doom. Only there can it be unmade.
I know what I must do, but I'm afraid to do it.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
There is no other way. There's something down there.
Number 12, The Terminator. You know, some may quibble about whether this or T2 is better, but you gotta give it to the OG. This is the only one where Arnold is actually the bad guy, and he's pitch perfect in the role. A slasher movie with a twist. Terminator transcended its low-budget roots to become a lasting franchise, even if it should have stopped after 2. And let's not forget that Arnold's main catchphrase began with this movie.
In this city, under cover of darkness, someone is stalking Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor?
Yes.
Sarah Connor, 35, brutally shot to death in her home.
You're dead, honey.
Late-breaking news.
What's this? Dead girl, too.
Sarah Louise Connor. Is this right?
Of course, we'll have more on this late-breaking story as it comes in.
She doesn't know why, but it's her he's after.
Did you reach the next girl yet?
No, I didn't get an answer, monsieur.
Pick up if you're there. I'm really scared. I think that there's somebody after me.
And no one can help her. Except for one man.
I'm Reese. It's a sign to protect you. You've been targeted for termination.
This isn't true. How could that man just get up after you did?
It's not a man. A machine. Terminator. Underneath, it's a hyperalloy combat chassis. Microprocessor controlled. Fully armored. Very tough. But outside, it's living human tissue.
They cannot make things like that yet.
Not yet. Not for about 40 years.
Are you saying it's from the future?
They came to fight for the one woman who could save their future.
And this computer thinks it can win by killing the mother of its enemy.
One came to protect her.
I came across time for you, Sarah.
The other to kill her. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator. Inhuman. Relentless. Unstoppable. He has only one purpose. Murder.
Can you stop it?
I don't know.
And now Sarah Connor's world has become a battlefield, with her at ground zero and the Terminator closing in. An adventure unlike anything you've ever seen before. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator.
Number 11, Predator. Another Schwarzenegger movie? Well, you betcha. Possibly the most testosterone-laden film ever made. The toughest commandos ever put together have to fight the most badass alien with the most disturbing face I've ever seen. More Arnold catchphrases, as well as some of the great action scenes, tension, and horror. For a B-movie creature feature, this one sure sticks with you.
We are a rescue team, not assassins. Now, what do we gotta do?
In a part of the world where there are no rules.
We pick up their trail at the chopper, run them down, grab those hostages before anybody knows we were there. What do you mean we?
Deep in the jungle, where nothing that lives is safe.
You lose it here, you're in a world of hurt. Showtime, kid. Knock, knock.
An elite rescue squad
You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
is being led by the ultimate warrior.
We need the best. That's why you're here.
But now,
What's got Billy so spooked?
There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man.
they're up against the ultimate enemy.
Holy Mother of God.
Nothing like it has ever been on Earth before.
She says the jungle just came alive and took him.
We cannot see it.
No blood, no bodies. We hit nothing.
But it sees the heat of our bodies and the heat of our fear.
Whatever it is out there, it killed Hopper. And now it wants us.
It kills for pleasure.
He was skinned alive.
It hunts for sport.
He's killing us one at a time.
We're all gonna die.
But this time, it's picked the wrong man to hunt.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Century Fox presents Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator. The hunt begins.
Number 10, Die Hard. Well, it's our first Christmas movie. A heartwarming tale of machine guns, explosions, and FBI guys, I guess. Well, I guess we need some more of those. Bruce Willis proved that he could be an action hero in this movie and changed our minds of action heroes forever. No longer did they have to be the muscle-bound giants like Stallone or Schwarzenegger. Now, they could be an everyman, creating a whole new subgenre of action movies called Die Hard on a Blank. There were clones that were great, like Speed, and some that were not so great. Under Siege 2, anyone? But nothing could dethrone the original, not even its own sequels.
And wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
It's Christmas Eve in L.A. But a team of terrorists.
You want money? What kind of terrorists are you?
Who said we were terrorists?
Have their own holiday plans.
And I'm telling you, you're just gonna have to kill me.
Okay. We do it the hard way.
But the one thing they didn't plan on was New York cop John McClane.
Got invited to the Christmas party by mistake. Who knew? You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
And you'll have it. They have already killed one hostage.
This channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
Lady, do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza? Come to Papa, honey. You really an American?
Only if New Jersey counts.
What does he think he's doing?
His job.
They're using artillery on us.
You idiot. It's not the police. It's him.
He's an easy guy to like.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And a hard man to kill. Bruce Willis. Die Hard.
Number 9, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Khan! Who hasn't yelled that in a moment of deep frustration in their life? You know, the second Star Trek movie remains the best. And it's a tale that made a lot of the things a part of Star Trek. The needs of the many. You are my friend, I have been and always shall be yours. But at its heart, it's a movie that embraces the growing ages of the crew, especially Kirk himself. Khan is impeccably played by Ricardo Montalban, and tying into the old series was a stroke of genius. Star Trek continues to be very watchable. Special effects and the introduction of Kirstie Alley puts this in the top 10 list, and it should be.
Beyond the darkness, beyond the human evolution, is Khan, a genetically superior tyrant. Exiled to a barren planet, banished by a starship commander he is destined to destroy. Left for dead, he has survived.
I'll chase him round the moons of Nibia and round the Antares maelstrom and round perdition's flames before I give him up. There she is. There she is. Fire!
Shield's collapsing, Captain. Can you defend your power? A few shots, sir.
Not enough against their shields.
The base is starboard.
Scotty, I need warp speed in 3 minutes or we're all dead. I've done far worse than kill you. I've hurt you. And I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, marooned for all eternity, buried alive, buried alive. Sean! Sean!
At the end of the universe lies the beginning of vengeance. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Number 8, Back to the Future. Wait, the future they ended up going to is now 5 years in the past? God, I'm old. And 1985 is further back than 1955 was when they went back from 85. Are you feeling old yet? All that aside, this is still a lot of fun, with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd making one of the best duos ever put on screen. Add to that the DeLorean becoming a much more famous car because of this movie than the car ever could on its own. Nostalgia for our parents, while us Gen X kids love the modern sensibility, and it's still great comic timing from everyone involved. You got yourself a classic. What else do you need?
Steven Spielberg presents Back to the Future, a Robert Zemeckis film. Marty leads an ordinary life.
No McFly ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley.
Well, history is going to change.
And 1985 is not his year. But Dr. Brown is about to change all that.
Are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
He's sending Marty 30 years back in time.
It works! It's a flying saucer from outer space!
Now, he's trapped in the past.
It's gotta be a dream.
About to meet
chocolate.
His future father.
He's a peeping Tom.
Wow!
And he's making an impression on his mother.
It's an absolute dream. And he can sleep in my room.
Anything you do could have serious repercussions on future events.
Now, he's got to make his mother and father fall in love.
For crying out loud, I haven't even been born yet.
And only Dr. Brown can help him get back to the future.
Are you telling me that this sucker is nuclear? Precisely.
Michael J. Fox.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Christopher Lloyd.
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Back to the Future.
Number 7, The Thing. Why, the very inspiration for this site. The Thing is a masterpiece of terror and tension. First, the creature effects will continue to shock you to this day. Secondly, the suspense of not knowing who's who will keep you biting your nails right to the very end. And even after the end, thanks to its ambiguous finish. A great cast and endlessly rewatchable. The Thing is John Carpenter's finest.
This is U.S. Station 31. You read me? Found something in the ice. We need some help down here. Can anybody hear me? We found something. We found something. We found something.
Men had just discovered something. For 100,000 years, it was buried in the snow and ice. Now it has found a place to live. Inside. Where no one can see it, or hear it, or feel it.
I know I'm human. Some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open. If it takes us over, then it has no more enemies. Nobody left to kill it. And then it's won.
You guys gonna listen to Gary? He can beat one of those things!
Number 6, Alien. Another slasher in sci-fi clothing that became more of the sum of its parts thanks to a great cast, including a relative unknown in Sigourney Weaver, who became the final girl and the basis of the strong female character that seems to be forgotten these days. but it's H.R. Geiger's design work on the alien itself that became the stuff of nightmares and is still timely today. Sequels have had diminishing returns, but the first one is still a great late-night scarefest. Number 5, Aliens. Did I say diminishing returns? Well, yeah, except for this sequel, which reimagines the slasher pick into an action war movie and a fight for survival. Not to mention Ripley's motherhood connection with Newt, mirroring the Queen, mothering her murderous young. James Cameron shows that he knows action, proving the Terminator was no fluke. As far as the rest of the sequels, well, I think we should nuke them from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Just tell me one thing, Burke. You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study, not to bring back, but to wipe them out.
That's the plan.
All right, people, on the ready line. Are you me? Yeah! Are you me? Yeah! Get on the ready line, Marine! Get something to die! Get on the ready line!
Get your light up here.
Keep back, don't scare her.
Movement! Talk to me, Hudson!
I got signals. I got readings in front and behind.
There's nothing back here.
Look, I'm telling you, there's something moving and it ain't us.
Get them out of there!
How could they cut the power, man? They're animals. There's movement all over the place. 5 meters, man. 4.
Aliens. This time, it's war.
Number 4, Star Wars. Yeah, you knew it had to be in the top 5. What can I say about Star Wars that hasn't been said in the last 43 years? I mean, it's a nearly perfect movie. It created a universe most of us can revisit again and again and again. From creating a gritty used universe to groundbreaking special effects to a perfect hero's journey story, and introducing us to new megastar Harrison Ford. Well, you get the idea. It's Star Wars. It's great, no matter how much George messes with it.
Luke Skywalker was just a farm boy until he received a mysterious message from a princess.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
She's beautiful.
Star Wars, starring Mark Hamill,
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
Harrison Ford,
Boring conversation anyway. Luke, we're gonna have company! I think we took a wrong turn.
Carrie Fisher,
Good luck.
Alec Guinness,
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
20th Century Fox presents the most extraordinary motion picture of all time, Star Wars.
Here's where the fun begins.
No legendary adventure of the past could be as exciting as this romance of the future.
Here they come.
May the Force be with you in Star Wars.
Number 3, Jaws. The film that coined the term blockbuster. Not Spielberg's first movie, but the one that made Spielberg. A movie that starts as a monster movie and then ends as a rousing adventure. But it's not the shark that makes this such a classic. It's the 3 leads: Robert Shaw, Roy Scheider, and Richard Dreyfuss. The Indianapolis speech still ranks as one of the greatest monologues of all time. The greatest shark movie of all time, and that's because it's not really about the shark. A blockbuster with such well-rounded characters? What a concept.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws. This is Universal's extraordinary motion picture version of Peter Benchley's best-selling novel, Jaws.
I just found out that a girl got killed here last week. And you knew it. You knew there was a shark out there. You knew it was dangerous. But you let people go swimming anyway.
It's all psychological. You yell barracuda. Everybody says, huh? What? You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Is it true that most people get attacked by sharks in 3 feet of water, about 10 feet from the beach?
Yeah. What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine. We're not only going to have to close the beach, we're going to have to hire somebody to kill the shark.
Bad fish. But I'll catch him and kill him.
Did you hear your father? Out of the water now!
This shark, swallow you whole.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons of them.
Hurry up, he's coming straight for us. Don't screw it up now.
Don't wait for me. Now! Shoot!
Watch the tail! Give him room!
I can't! He's trying to run! Oh!
Williams' fantasies of evil can compare with the reality of Jaws. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Jaws. See it before you go swimming.
Number 2, The Empire Strikes Back. The last of the original trilogy on this list, and still the best. Number 2, though? Yes, by 1 point. Could have easily been number 1. Maybe it should be. Taking the simple adventure story of Star Wars and expanding the story in ways we never would have imagined in 1980. A darker story. But being darker is not the point. It was to push our characters to the brink, take them to the other side of the fire. This is the movie that made Darth Vader, the Force, and the idea of the Jedi what we think about them today. By the way, John Williams does his best work here in the entire trilogy. Actually, in all 9 movies. Star Wars was amazing, but it was Empire that kept the property resonating for decades.
Luke Skywalker and Han Solo rescued the princess, destroyed the Death Star, but their story didn't end there. Now, the creators of the biggest smash hit of all time bring you the next episode in the Star Wars saga, The Empire Strikes Back. Continuing story of our band of heroes: Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, C-3PO, R2-D2, and Chewbacca. And introducing Lando Calrissian. It's an epic of romance, of heroes and villains, they cross trackless voids to unknown worlds. A galactic odyssey against oppression. A big, new, sprawling space adventure in the Star Wars saga, The Empire Strikes Back. Coming to your galaxy next summer.
And number 1, by a whisker, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Spielberg and Lucas joined forces to create this homage to adventure serials in the 30s, but crank it up to 11. Is there a better combination of actor, character, costume, and theme song than Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones? From one of the best opening scenes ever filmed in the South American temple, to one of the greatest truck chases we ever saw. Heck, the most drop-dead funny moments when Indy just shoots the swordman is part of what makes this whole thing nearly a perfect movie from beginning to end. There's not a wasted moment. And thanks to mostly real stunts and practical effects, you feel every bruise, every punch. You feel every one of them that Indy does. So, there's maybe some debate on the order of the top 5, but I don't think there's much debate on which movies belong in the top 5. Raiders is a timeless classic that will continue to entertain for the next 40 years.
For nearly 3,000 years, man has searched for the lost Ark of the Covenant.
The Bible speaks of the Ark leveling mountains and laying waste to entire regions. Not something to be taken lightly. No one knows its secrets.
Jones, do you realize what the Ark is?
It's a transmitter. It's a radio for speaking to God.
An army which carries the Ark before it is invincible.
The Ark. If it is their Eternis, then it is something that man was not meant to disturb.
It is protected by forces beyond imagination. It is desired above all treasures on earth by those who are good.
Trust me.
And those who are evil.
I'll tell you everything.
Yes, I know you will.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Let her go. We have no time. If you still want the Ark, it is being loaded onto a truck for Cairo.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. A film from Steven Spielberg and George Lucas.
So there you go, Outposters. Got any issues? Leave them down in the comments. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Visit us at lastmovieoutpost.com. Tweet at us @MovieOutpost, and you can tweet me directly @DrunkenYoda1. Facebook @/LastMovieOutpost, and now we have an Instagram @LastMovieOutpost. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. With Sergio Leone's direction let's try this again. While all three of his Batman movies were a treat, this one has yet to be topped. I don't like that. Highlighted by Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro's performances before De Niro. Highlighted by Joe Pesci on nearly everyone's. Oh boy. Even without Mark. No matter what, Rutger Hauer's The Godfather hits number 16, but it's showing it. This is the only one of the Lord of the Rings trilogy to make the top 4. I'm Casey Kasem. The Fellowship. The only one of the Lord of the Rings movies to. This Tolkien Yeah, don't worry, I'll cut that out. I'm not cutting that out. I'm cutting it out, I swear. To one of the greatest Raiders is a timeless.